Before we start, please make sure to like this video and hit this subscribe button so you never miss a story like this. And also comments where you are watching from, how many sons and daughters you have. Thanks. My name is Karen. I'm from Savannah, Georgia. And if there's one thing I believe in, it's that no woman, no mother, no daughter, should ever be silenced, bullied, or broken by a man drunk on power. Because let me tell you something, the moment he slammed that door in our faces, was the moment he gave us the strength to tear down everything he thought he controlled. You think you can just barge into my house and tell me how to run my family? Eric's voice thundered across the living room as he stepped closer, jabbing his finger in my face. This is my home. My rules. You don't like it? There's the door, Karen. I didn't flinch. I stood my ground. I helped buy this home. I co-signed the damn mortgage when your credit was in the toilet. Don't you dare raise your voice at me in front of my daughter. Oh, please, he scoffed, turning to my daughter, Rachel, who stood frozen by the kitchen island, clutching her baby girl like a shield. You gonna let your mommy run your marriage now, too? No wonder your last boyfriend left. You can't make a single decision without Karen whispering in your ear. I stepped between them before Rachel could even breathe. Watch your mouth. That's your wife you're talking to. And I will not stand by while you insult her in front of her child. Eric's eyes narrowed. Oh, I'm done. I'm so done. You've been living here for 6 months now, Karen. Eating our food. Judging everything I do. Poisoning my wife's mind against me. You want control? Fine. Take your daughter and your charity act, and get the hell out of my house. Tonight. Rachel gasped. Wait, Eric, what are you saying? I'm saying pack your stuff. You've got 10 minutes. Or I'll call the cops and tell them there's a trespasser in my home. Your mom isn't on the lease. She can be removed. He started pacing like a lunatic, pulling open the hall closet, tossing out my coat, my shoes, my suitcase. I could feel the rage in my throat, bubbling to the surface, but I kept my voice calm. Steady. Controlled. You want us gone? I said quietly. Fine. But when we go, Eric, just remember who was there when you had nothing. Who fed you when your job laid you off? Who watched your child when you couldn't afford daycare? And who believed in you, when even your own parents stopped answering your calls? He laughed, actually laughed, then spat the words, I didn't ask for your help. You moved in like a parasite and now you're trying to act like some kind of saint. But this is my house now. My family. My rules. So go play hero somewhere else. I felt Rachel's hand on my arm, trembling. Mom, maybe just let it go. Just for tonight. No, I said, finally turning to her. This isn't about me anymore. This is about your dignity. And your daughter's future. If she sees you staying quiet now, she'll think this is normal. She'll think this is what love looks like. And I won't let that happen. Eric stormed to the door, yanked it open, and barked, then leave. We stood there for a second. Just a second. The wind howled through the doorway. The baby whimpered in Rachel's arms. And I could feel it, the line had been crossed. No going back. I took one last look at that house. The walls I helped paint. The crib I built. The kitchen where I cooked his birthday dinner after he got fired. Every inch of that home had my fingerprints on it. And still, he threw us out like trash. So I turned to him. Looked him dead in the eye. You'll regret this, Eric. Not because of what you lost tonight, but because of what you let walk out that door. We may not have a house anymore. But we've got something you'll never have. A clean conscience. And with that, we stepped into the cold night. No bags. No plan. Just faith. And rage. What would you do if your daughter's husband threw you both out in the middle of the night, with a child in her arms and nowhere to go? Would you beg to stay, or would you rise with fire in your chest and a plan in your heart? Because what Eric didn't know was that our rock bottom would be the beginning of his. Stay with me. Because what happened next, no one could have predicted. We walked. No jackets. No money. No plan. Just a sleeping baby, a shaking daughter, and a wind that cut through our skin like glass. Rachel's tears were silent at first, but her shoulders gave her away. Each step she took was heavy, confused, like her world had just tipped off its axis. And it had. I knew that pain. I had once walked out of my own marriage with nothing but a toddler on my hip and a fire in my chest. Now here we were, again. But this time it was her heartbreak. Her humiliation. Her marriage. And I could feel the guilt settling in her bones. I'm sorry, Mom, she whispered, not meeting my eyes. You were right. I should have left him months ago. I stopped right there on the sidewalk and turned to her. No, I said firmly. Don't you dare blame yourself. You gave everything you had to a man who didn't deserve a drop of it. Love isn't weakness. But letting someone treat you like you're disposable? That ends tonight. She nodded slowly, hugging her daughter tighter, like the warmth from that tiny body might thaw the heartbreak out of her chest. We reached a 24-hour diner. I had $20 in my purse, cash, forgotten in a side pocket. Enough for 2 cups of coffee and a small plate of fries. We slid into the booth, still silent, still trying to process what had just happened. Rachel stared down at her mug, steam swirling upward. He used to be so sweet, Mom. Remember when we first met him? He brought me sunflowers for no reason. He used to cook. He listened. When did that all disappear? I didn't say it aloud, but I knew the answer, the day you gave up more than you got back. The day you started shrinking yourself to keep the peace. And the day you let silence take the place of self-respect. He didn't change, baby, I said. He just stopped pretending. She looked up at me, stunned. But you changed, I added. You became a mother. You grew. You gave everything you had. While he stayed the same small, insecure boy in a man's body. That's not your fault. That's his. Her eyes watered again, but this time it wasn't grief, it was realization. And I could see something shift in her posture. Not just heartbreak, but a flicker of anger. A flicker of self-worth fighting its way back to the surface. Do you think he meant it? She asked. Like, really wanted us gone? I reached across the table, took her hand. Sweetheart, he's going to regret this for the rest of his life. But we're not going back. We don't go backward in this family. We move forward, even if we have to crawl. That's when I pulled out my phone. I had a friend. A woman I used to work with at the salon before I retired. She'd always told me, Karen, if you ever need anything, you call me. Day or night. So I did. She answered on the second ring. Karen? It's almost midnight, are you okay? No, I said honestly. But we will be. Can you help us? 10 minutes later, she pulled up in an old Jeep, tears in her eyes as she helped us into the back seat. What kind of man throws his wife and baby out in the cold? You come stay with me. I've got a spare room. And more blankets than you'll ever need. As we pulled away from the diner, I looked over at Rachel. Her head rested against the window, her daughter nestled safely in her arms. And despite everything, she looked strong. Broken, yes. But strong. And I knew right then, we were going to rebuild. Not just survive, but rise. Because when women support each other, there's no man on this earth who can stop what comes next. We didn't cry the next morning. We planned. My friend Sharon had already cleared out her guest room by the time we woke up. The bed was warm, the sheets smelled like lavender, and the baby slept through the night for the first time in weeks. It should have felt like peace. But I wasn't interested in peace. I was interested in payback. The kind that doesn't scream. The kind that doesn't swing or shout. The kind that waits, sharp, still, and silent. Over breakfast, I saw Rachel scrolling through her phone. Her face twisted into a mix of sadness and disbelief. "He blocked me," she said quietly. "I tried to check the baby monitor app. It won't load. He changed the password. I can't even see her crib anymore." I took a sip of coffee, slow and deliberate. "Good," I said. "Let him think he's won. It makes what's coming easier." She looked at me, confused. "What do you mean?" I smiled, not with joy, but with clarity. "Rachel, you signed everything in that house, remember? Your name is on every account. Every bill. Every shared bank statement. He wanted you gone so badly, he forgot one thing: you took knowledge with you. And knowledge is power." She blinked, like she hadn't even realized it. "He never updated anything," I continued. "You still have access to the joint savings. Your name is on the utility bills. Even the Wi-Fi. He's in that house thinking he's untouchable. But you? You still hold the strings." Rachel stared at me, and for the first time in days, I saw a spark. Not fear. Not heartbreak. Focus. "He used your kindness as leverage," I said. "Now it's time to show him what strength looks like." We spent the afternoon going through every document, every email, every account. It was all still open. Still accessible. And what we found? Let's just say, Eric had more secrets than we thought. A second checking account. Hidden under just his name. Withdrawals from places he'd told Rachel he'd never been. A subscription to a luxury dating site. With activity as recent as 2 weeks ago. I looked up at her. Her hands were trembling. "He was cheating," she whispered. "While I was nursing his child, he was out looking for someone new." My heart broke, again, but I didn't show it. Instead, I said the only thing that mattered now. "Good. Let him dig his own grave. We just hold the shovel." She nodded, breathing harder now. Not from pain, from clarity. That night, we met with a lawyer. Sharon's cousin. The kind who doesn't ask for $1 until the job's done. We handed over the bank records, the dating profile screenshots, and proof that he had kicked out both his wife and child without cause or legal process. And the lawyer? He leaned back and smiled. "He's going to regret every second of this." Back at Sharon's house, Rachel rocked her baby to sleep and asked me, "Do you think I'm strong enough for this?" And I told her the truth. "You don't have to feel strong, sweetheart. You just have to act like it until the truth catches up." And it will. Because men like him? They always think they're 2 steps ahead, until the rug disappears under their feet. She smiled softly. "And what happens when the rug disappears?" I kissed her forehead. "They fall. Hard." 2 weeks later, we stood on the same porch where he had slammed the door in our faces. Only this time, we were knocking. Rachel didn't hesitate. Not for a second. She held the baby in one arm and a manila envelope in the other, full of court documents, bank statements, and evidence that would burn the entire illusion Eric had built around himself. I stood behind her, quiet, steady. Like a soldier ready for war, but letting the captain lead. The door opened. Eric's smug face appeared, but the second he saw me behind her, that smile cracked. And when his eyes dropped to the envelope in Rachel's hand, it shattered. "What? What is this?" he asked, his voice already defensive. Rachel stepped forward, voice calm but sharper than I'd ever heard it. "This is everything you didn't think I knew, Eric. And everything the court's going to see." He laughed, but it was shaky now. "Is this supposed to scare me? What, you're gonna take me for child support?" "No," she said. "I'm taking my name off every bill, shutting down every joint account, transferring my rights to the house into escrow, and filing for full custody." "You kicked us out? Good. That means you've already proven you're not fit to be a parent." Eric froze. Wait, Rachel, come on. You're upset. You don't need to do all this. She didn't blink. You blocked me from seeing my daughter's crib. Changed the locks. Kicked my mother out in the middle of the night. You think I'm angry, Eric? I'm not angry. I'm done. He stepped forward, trying to put on the old charm. Babe, you're overreacting. Come inside. Let's talk about this. I miss you. I miss our family. I saw Rachel inhale slowly, grounding herself. Family, she repeated. You don't miss a family you throw on the street like trash. You just miss having someone to control. Then she handed him the envelope. You have 7 days to respond. Or the judge will decide everything for you. He flipped through the papers like they were written in a language he couldn't read. Then he looked up at me. This was your idea, wasn't it? I stepped forward, smiling just enough. No, Eric. This was yours. The moment you chose ego over love, the moment you put your pride above your child's safety, this ending became inevitable. I just made sure she had the strength to finish it. Eric's voice cracked. You'll regret this, both of you. Rachel nodded. I already regretted staying. This feels like freedom. We turned and walked back to Sharon's car. And for the first time in months, Rachel wasn't looking over her shoulder. We didn't shout. We didn't scream. We didn't even raise our voices. But he heard us louder than ever before. The power had shifted. And it wasn't just about legal custody or bank accounts. It was about owning our story again. 2 weeks later, the court granted Rachel temporary full custody and froze the joint savings account. The lawyer filed an emergency petition for full control of the home's equity and Eric. He posted a crying video online, pretending to be the victim. Talking about how his wife left him, how her toxic mother turned her away. But the comments weren't what he expected. Bro, you kicked your wife and baby out. How are you the victim? The fact you're airing this online says everything we need to know. Maybe next time, don't bite the hands that fed you. That video? It did more damage than any lawsuit ever could. And Rachel? She never looked back. 3 months passed. 3 months without screaming. Without walking on eggshells. Without second-guessing whether silence was safer than truth. Rachel had found a part-time job at a local design studio. She'd always had an eye for creativity, colors, space, beauty, things Eric had called a waste of time. But now? That talent was paying the rent. Sharon wouldn't accept a dime from us, but we contributed where we could. Cooking meals, helping around the house, taking care of her yard. We were rebuilding a life, slowly, yes, but with every piece we laid, it felt like ours. Rachel smiled more. Her daughter laughed louder. And I finally started sleeping through the night. We never mentioned Eric. Not out of fear. Out of irrelevance. Until the knock came. Late afternoon. Quiet day. I opened the front door, and there he was. Disheveled. Sweaty. His shirt wrinkled. His eyes bloodshot. Not angry this time, desperate. Karen, he mumbled. Can I talk to Rachel? I didn't move. Just leaned on the doorframe. What could you possibly have to say? He ran a hand through his hair, looking around like a man who'd lost his way. They froze my accounts. My job let me go last week. They saw the video I posted, and, apparently, I violated some PR policy. My name's on that mortgage, but I can't even access the equity. And the utilities are being shut off. I blinked. So you came here, why? His voice cracked. Because I thought maybe Rachel could stop the court stuff. Or at least help me unlock the house funds. I'm staying on a friend's couch. I haven't seen my daughter in weeks. And then he said it, the line I'd seen coming from a mile away. I just want my family back. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. Because Rachel had already walked up behind me. Calm. Strong. Holding her baby in one arm, and standing taller than I'd ever seen her. You didn't want a family, Eric, she said softly. You wanted control. You wanted a house you didn't pay for. A child you didn't parent. A wife you didn't value. And when we left, you didn't miss us. You missed the convenience. He took a shaky breath. Please, just talk to me. One coffee. One chance to fix this. Rachel tilted her head, thoughtful for a second. Then smiled gently. Here's what I'll give you, Eric, forgiveness. Not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace. But a second chance? No. I'm not yours to break again. Eric's face collapsed. His shoulders dropped like the weight of his own choices finally hit him. I never thought you'd actually walk away, he said quietly. Rachel held her daughter a little tighter. That was your first mistake, she whispered. Your second was thinking I wouldn't rise. She stepped back, gently closed the door, and that was that. No screaming. No revenge. No final blow. Just a woman who walked away for good. A year later, Rachel had a new apartment. A job she loved. A daughter who was thriving. And a peace that no man could ever take from her again. Eric tried to contact her a few more times. Through emails. Through mutual friends. But by then, he was just another voice she didn't answer. And me? I watched my daughter become the woman I always prayed she'd be, strong, clear-eyed, and unwilling to shrink for anyone ever again. My name is Karen. And if you're listening to this, I want you to hear me. You are not too old to start over. You are not too broken to be whole again. And you are never wrong for walking away from someone who makes you feel small. We didn't win because we hurt him back. We won because we stood up, moved forward, and refused to be controlled by fear. Sometimes, life kicks you out with nothing but the clothes on your back. But what you do next? That's where your power begins.